Good evening, fans. Welcome inside the LaFrance Gymnasium at Bishop Connolly High School for a Battle of Fall River. Durfee versus Bishop Connolly tonight, in what should be a great rivalry game. First time in quite some time that we've had the two schools squaring off on a battle on Ellsbury Street, at least in basketball. Two teams played football together a couple of years in a row recently, but basketball has been a different story. These two teams have not met on the hardwood. Actually, none of these players have squared off against each other, so should be a fun one tonight. We're going to turn it over right now to head coach Billy Shea of the Bishop Connolly Cougars. We have a pregame ceremony here for you. We're going to honor right on the court the 1970-1971 class. It's the first four-year class to graduate from Bishop Connolly. So we have some players from that year, and we're going to honor them now prior to this game. So we'll turn it over to Billy Shea.
And a lot of these gentlemen are also very successful people as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce them individually and let you know what they're up to these days. And I'd like everybody to welcome them back to Bishop Connolly. Okay. Our first gentleman is was a point guard. Okay, he was a junior on the team. He was a past first point guard, not the scoring point guards we have today. He attended Providence College, graduated from Providence College, and is now a teacher at Case High School. Charlie Shaker. Our next gentleman was also a junior on that team. He graduated from Boston College in 1975, and he's now the owner of Fairhaven Lumber, Mr. Jimmy Caleb. This next gentleman, familiar to many people, who's also a junior on this team. Pretty good team, a lot of juniors.
Mike, why don't you take 2 minutes?
He graduated from UMass Amherst and also Georgetown Law School. He's the former mayor of Fall River and is now a practicing lawyer in Fall River, Mr. John Mitchell. Next gentleman was a sophomore on this team. What, a lot of underclassmen. We're 16 and 4. You guys have a good year the next year? Why did everybody get big heads? This gentleman was a sophomore. He graduated from URI and is a retired pharmacist, Mr. Gary Considine. They took me to retire, guys. Okay, last but not least, this gentleman, when I was 15 years old, he broke me in down the boys club. Talk about playing under pressure. Try to play on this guy's team when you got to win. He was a sophomore on his team, graduated from Boston College as well. And he's the owner of JLN Equipment Company, Mr. Jay Mercer.
So as Herald News sports reporter Greg Sullivan gets the photo op there, run down those names again for you from the class of 1970-71. Being honored: Charlie Shaker, Jim Califf, John Mitchell, Gary Considine, and Jay Mercer. So nice pregame ceremony before we get things going here at the LaFrance Gymnasium. Couple hot topics to discuss before tip-off here. One being that Durfee is in pretty much a must-win situation, very similar to the last broadcast that we had, and that was Friday against BR. Durfee played the BR Trojans on Friday, and they bounced back in a big way, taking that one 69-55. So now Durfee at 9-9 on the season. They do have one more game against Attleboro, but they'd like to clinch their playoff spot tonight and take care of business. Coach Jamison Guimond mentioning that they really went to kind of a team mentality, or at least he's been pushing that, especially during this latter half of the season after some struggles midway through, saying got to take it one game at a time. Can't even really look to Attleboro. You have Connolly here. Can't look to the playoffs. You have Connolly here. So it's focus on one game at a time. Something that was brought up actually very well last time out with we had Owen Norton here doing color with me in that last game. He said, you got to win each quarter. If you can win each quarter, you're going to start winning games. And the same can be said about hockey. Win each period. Or baseball. Win each inning. Slowly, those innings, those quarters, those periods will turn into W's, and that's kind of the whole point of it. So you got to kind of break it down a little bit. You can't just look at it as a whole game. You have to break it down and kind of simplify things. He did say everybody's at full strength, and he did mention about that BR game. If you haven't seen that one, it is currently airing on Fred TV Channel 9, and so be sure to check that one out. But he did mention that in that game, the intensity was really up there, fast-paced game, and the kids played in control, though, and that was an important thing because we've seen the Hilltoppers, from time to time when they play at a fast pace, sometimes they get too aggressive and they don't play within themselves, and it gets a little out of hand. You start committing the silly turnovers, you start committing the bad fouls, and you start missing shots, and sooner or later, all of a sudden, you're down by 10 points. So it was a very impressive win for Durfee, especially since they lost to BR earlier in the year, to bounce back like that and take care of business at home the last time we saw the Hilltoppers. Now on the other side, Coach Billy Shea's Connolly Cougars, the last time we saw them, flipping back here in the scorebook, we've done a lot of games this season. The last time we saw Connolly, it was against the West Bridgewater Wildcats. In a Mayflower League game, the Wildcats were 7-3. Connolly was just 2-5. They come into tonight's game at 12-8. They went on a string of winning 11 of 12 games. So this team really caught fire. Really right after getting back from winter break, there were a couple tough games there, but they weren't games that the Cougars were getting blown out on, and that was something that Coach Shea really stresses, that these were games that were definitely winnable. Talking about losing to Stang, another close game, less than 4 points, the differential. That's just one of the examples. So the games that they lost, they had leads, they lost them late, and they lost the games by just a little bit. They were not blowout losses by any stretch of the imagination. That last game that we covered, where we saw the Connolly Cougars back in January. That win was a big win, 84-62 right here at the LaFrance Gymnasium. Alex McCray had 22 points in that one. Kevin Sullivan with 20. Durfee's last game, leading scorers in that one, Chris Farrington led the way with 20, and Deshaun Barros with 15. One other thing that Coach Shea mentioned was it's very important to be ready for the playoffs. He says they're kind of gearing up to it, and but of course they want to finish the season strong. So similar to Durfee, one game at a time. All right, we're going to take a look at the starters now for both sides for the visiting Durfee Hilltoppers. Number 30, Yamel Rivera. Number 5, Nick Salmon. Number 22, Chris Farrington. Those are your three captains, as well as number 15, Deshaun Barros, and number 10, Ricardo Echeverria. Hilltoppers are coached by Jamison Guimond. Come into tonight's game at 9-9, needing one win for a state tournament playoff berth. On the other side for the Cougars, number 41, Nilanera. Number 4, Alex McCrae. Number 1, Chethan Nera. Number 20, Logan Reardon. And number 15, Kevin Sullivan. And of course, the Cougars and Billy Shea are synonymous. Coach Shea's been around for such a long time. He's at the helm once again of the 12-8 Cougars. We'll take a break here for the Star Spangled Banner as we honor the red, white, and blue. We'll play 8 minutes in this non-league matchup here at Bishop Connolly. 8-minute quarters, as we normally do. Hilltoppers ready, hitting the court. Cougars getting one last word from Billy Shea before they'll hit the court as well. And let me tell you something, this is probably as full as I've ever seen this gymnasium. This battle on Elsbury Street has brought out fans from all across Fall River. See Durfee and Bishop Connolly square off. None of these players have played each other. It's been more than 4 years since these two teams have squared off. So a totally new group of kids playing each other in this Fall River battle that's been resurrected here in 2016. Tip-off goes to the Hilltoppers. It's Yamel Rivera with it. Gets it to Nick Salmon. Tries to open the game with a 3. Alex McCrae with the rebound, and it'll be Bishop Connolly taking it. Chethan Nera going to the net. It is blocked by Nick Salmon, a jump ball. It'll be Connolly ball. That's for 3. That's good! Apologize there for the technical difficulties here. Had some tripod issues for the moment. That first 3 was hit by Nilanera. Now Yamel Rivera trying to tie it up, no good. Salmon with the putback. There's Chethan Nera. Loses it. Deshaun Barrows takes it. Gets it to Rivera. Salmon calling. Missed a 3 earlier. This would be for 2. Right on the line for 2. Durfee pulls ahead by 1 in the early goings. Nera gets it to his brother, Chathan. McCray with it underneath. Gets through the traffic, can't put it in. Barros with the rebound. Salmon with the bounce pass to Barros, who loses it. Nera with the feed to his brother. Gonna let it go. It should be Durfee ball. It is. So Salmon will inbound. Underneath pass. It was intended for Echeverria, and Chathan Nera comes away with it. And a whistle's blown. I think we're going to have our first foul of the night. We do. And it's on Nick Salmon. That was Lou Brito, one of our two officials tonight. John Souza, the other. Chathan Nera for three! So the Nera brothers with a pair of threes here in the first quarter. 6-4 the score. Back to Salmon. Now to Barros. Back to Salmon. He's going to pull up for three. He's going to knock it down. Salmon put on a show early. He's got all 7. Cougars fans, the 6th man for Bishop Connolly with the Let's Go Connolly chant. Oh, that's going to go backcourt. Going to be Durfee ball. Durfee 6th man coming out in droves. I'll tell you, they're a little more animated than they were against BR at home. The 6th man during February vacation, the game we did last time out, was pretty quiet. Nick Salmon for another 3. 10 points for the Hilltoppers, all of them, thanks to Nick Salmon. Got a whistle blown by John Souza, foul coming. So the bad news is that while Salmon has 10 points, that's his 2nd foul. We got a timeout. Cougars going to head to the bench. So pretty interesting first 4 minutes of this one with Nick Salmon doing it all for Durfee. On the other side, the Nera brothers with a pair of threes. And that's your score, 10-6. 4:20 to play in this first quarter. Durfee's JV team took care of Conley's JV team earlier tonight. It's actually a pretty close battle until I'd say midway through the 4th quarter, where the Hilltoppers opened it up a bit. They ended up winning by 12, 74-62. But it was back and forth really through much of that second half until, again, maybe midway through the 4th quarter. That's when Durfee started to pull away. So after the Salmon foul and the timeout, Chathan Nera will inbound to Kevin Sullivan, across to Logan Reardon. Back to Nera, wants another 3 off the front of the rim. Farrington with it, tumbling down. Joe Camara and Alex McCray get tangled up. No shot. And a foul. First foul of the night for the Cougars, and it's on Dylan Nera, his first. Joe Camara in for Nick Salmon for the time being. Again, Salmon with 2 quick fouls after the good start. Delay, trying to get it in. Good D there for the Cougars. preventing the inbound pass. They get the ball right back. Actually, they called a foul. It was a foul on Deshaun Barrows. Sullivan puts it in. He's on the board. 10-8. Barrows trying to bank it in. He can't. Gonna have a jump ball here. And the last time it went to the Cougars, should be Durfee ball this time. And indeed it is. Rivera will inbound. Official scorer Don Schwinnard will hit the switch there. Send the light the other way now, so Cougars will get the next one. Rivera with a quick pull-up three off the back of the rim. Echeverria with the rebound, trying to bounce it in, cannot. And Nilanera comes down with the rebound there, gets it to Sullivan as they move across half court. Wants to drive the lane, running into some trouble. Out to Chathan Nera. Drives to the basket. Good for one. One basket plus one for the foul. Durfee's fourth foul is going to be courtesy of Joe Camara. That basket tied things up at 10. And Chathan will look to put the Cougars back ahead. Misses the free throw on the and one. Camara will hand it off to Rivera. And a whistle is blown. Second foul for the Cougars, the first for Logan Reardon. Rivera to Echeverria underneath. Can't bank it in. Who wants it? Reardon comes down with it. Nilanera slowing up for a minute. Gets it back to Reardon. McRae called on a travel. Coach Shea not liking it. Mason Turner coming in for Echeverria, number 31 for the Hilltoppers. So if you watched any of our football coverage during the fall sports season, you'll recognize a lot of these Cougars names. As Farrington gets on the board. So many football players on this Cougars team, and that's something that Coach Shea thinks might have caused a slow start for Bishop Connolly, given that the football players were still on the gridiron and they couldn't practice and weren't playing, all through the fall. A little confusion as to who the foul was on, so. I believe they're saying the foul's on Mason Turner. Yes, it is. So fifth foul for Durfee. And that's put in for two. Cougars tie it back up. 12 all. Joe Camara for a corner three. Yamel Rivera called on the foul. Durfee's sixth, and they're racking them up. They have not scored Joe Camara's corner shot. They're a three-pointer. Sure looked like it was going to be. But right now it is listed as a 2 on the scoreboard. So 14-12 the score. Minute 50 to play in this first quarter. It's been a fast first quarter. Camara back to Rivera. Loose ball. Barrows able to corral it, and he puts it in on the jumper. He's in the book now. Kevin Sullivan with it, trying to spin. All kinds of pressure. Travel called, no fouls, no shot. Chris Bacon coming in for the Cougars, replacing Logan Reardon. Barrows from the free throw line puts it in for 2. Durfee's lead growing. It's 18-12 with 60 seconds to play in the first quarter. Nera almost slips. Rivera doing a great job on defense. Sullivan gets the ball in the air. Can't put it up. Who's got the rebound? It's Barrows. 3-on-1. Barrows gives it up. Bacon with the block. Turner comes away with it. We're going to have a foul coming. The foul is on Barrows. That'll be Durfee's 7th foul. We're not out of this first quarter yet. Barrows will take a seat. This is his 2nd. And in to replace him, number 13. And Nera to Nera inbound pass. They continue to hold the ball. Jathan going to the net. Can't put it in. Be Connolly ball. You see on your screen the Durfee 6-man. Full tonight. Bunch of heads there at the bottom of the frame. Kevin Sullivan floating it. In and out it goes. And number 13 with the rebound. 10 seconds. Rivera to the basket. Loses the ball. McCray with the rebound. 7 seconds. Nera with a shot here at the buzzer. Gonna put it up. No good. McCray banks it in at the buzzer. Ho-ho! Good for the 2. Makes it a 4-point game. Way to stay with it. He was determined to get that one in. So 18-14 the score after 1 quarter. Durfee did a good job getting some other players involved after losing Salmon, who put up the first 10 points for the Hilltoppers. For Bishop Connolly, Chethan Nera leading the way with 5 points. The 2 6-man crews trading off chants here. Speaking to each other from across the court. That's great. So nice to see a packed house here at the LaFrance Gymnasium. Second quarter begins here with the Hilltoppers up by 4, 18-14 over the Cougars. Evan Massard with you here on Fred TV. From Bishop Connolly High School, Barrows is back in. Salmon is back in. Our 5 starters for the Hilltoppers, all on the court to begin the second quarter. Nera is going to pick up foul number 2 on his night. 3rd overall for Bishop Connolly. Durfee with some foul trouble in that first quarter. 7 already, so the Cougars into bonus as we begin this second quarter. Farrington at the line gets his first free throw of the night. This is his first trip. A perfect trip. Gets Durfee up to 20 points. Nice passing, tipped away by Echeverria though to spoil it. They were looking for McCray underneath. Sullivan thought of 3, thought the better of it. Chathan inside the arc there for 2. Little jumper. Barrows putting that one in for 2. Nera to Nera, down the court. Across to Bacon, puts it up, get his own rebound. Chathan gets it to Sullivan. Nillen calling for it. Sullivan doesn't see him. Fadeaway jumper, no good. Salmon comes away with it. He'll put it up. That's good. Salmon leading the way now with 12 points. It's an 8-point Durfee lead. Bacon comes down with it back to Chathan. Timeout call by the Cougars. I believe Shea wants a minute. So just shy of the 90-second mark here in this second quarter. Coach Shea calling timeout. Not liking the 6-2 start the Hilltoppers were on to start the second quarter. So hoping he got his message across during that timeout. Echeverria for 3, in and out. Seen a couple of those tonight and just don't want to fall. Boy, the Cougar Den, as they call it, is alive tonight. Chathan Nera going down. He was fouled by Echeverria. That's his first. Durfee's 8th foul. Nera at the line. This should be 2 shots. He was in the process of going to the basket. No, it's a 1-and-1. See, the ball wasn't released. I thought it was, but ball was not released, so the 1-and-1. And since he hit that first, he'll get the chance at the second, which was good. So that makes it 24-18. Farrington with the ball, been kind of quiet. Says, I'll pull it for 3. Another one that goes in and out. So close. That's 2 3-pointers that Hilltoppers could have had right there on their last 2 possessions. They went in and bounced right back out. Nera off the fingertips. He'll get the friendly bounce that time. 4-point game. Errant pass. Salmon is there to back it up, though. Who wants it? Salmon and Echeverria going after it. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Salmon lets it fly, puts it down. Good recovery. Some sloppy passing, but Durfee was able to keep it. Cougars not able to take advantage. Nice spin move. Sullivan loses it. Oh, he had a great move there, but then he lost control. Farrington to Salmon. Short. Barrows is fouled. First foul on McCray. And that's number 4 for the Cougars. Barrows, trip number 1 to the free throw line. And it's good. He misses a second. Echeverria gets the rebound and puts it in. Nilanera pulling up for three. Just off the back of the net. Sullivan loses it again. Having trouble controlling the ball right now. Farrington going to the basket. Barros with the rebound again. Barros puts it in. And it's a double-digit lead for Durfee, the largest of the night. 31-20 as we come up on the halfway point in this second quarter. 4 minutes to play before halftime. Nice feed underneath to McCray. And he is fouled. Echeverria's second foul, Durfee's ninth. McCray shooting two. McCray hits the first one. Chris Bacon replaced by Sean O'Connor. O'Connor, number 44, seeing his first action of the game. Bacon's been out there for a while. Actually, he's been out there since the first quarter. McCray, 2 for 2 at the line. That cuts the lead to 9. Rivera for a long three. Big bounce. Echeverria tips it into McCray's hands. Cougars take over. Chathan with it. Tipped away by Barros. Right into the hands of Salmon. Gonna go coast to coast. Slams into the wall. Chathan with some good defense there, not letting Salmon turn. Tipped the ball out of his hands. Hilltoppers will have to inbound. That was really good coverage there. Echeverria for three off the back of the basket there, back of the rim. Alex McCray puts it in through the traffic. Show you how much more offense is that we're seeing here in this second quarter. Durfee needs just 3 points to match their first quarter total. Connolly just needs 4 to match their first quarter totals. So, actually, Durfee needs 5, I should say. Pardon me. Now they need 3. So a timeout called. Durfee with the 9-point lead at the moment. 3:03 on the clock. Lots of familiar faces here tonight. Coaches from other sports or other teams here at Connolly or from other teams at Durfee. Also, I'm spotting Matt Kurt, former head coach and player here at Connolly. Highest ever point scorer for the Cougars, over 1,400 points. And of course, Matt Kurt was the head coach when the Cougars won the state title. Can you believe that was 2013? It's already been 3 years. That's unbelievable to think. It's been 3 years since they won it. You see Matt Kurt over with sitting on the far side. Working in the Hockomock League. Salmon gets the ball. Echeverria was not ready for it. It'll be Cougars' ball. You know, there was a lot of questioning as to how this Cougars team would compete this year, losing the big presence underneath of Conrad Bradbury and the, prolific shooting of Dylan Holland, who will be honored in this gym with his 1,000th point, his name added to the 1,000-point banner on senior night. Sullivan puts that in for 2. But there was a lot of question as to whether or not this team could compete, losing those two great players. Salmon for a long three. Putting up the numbers tonight. But I'll tell you one thing. Cougars have done a nice job. Durfee outplaying them right now. Travel called on Salmon, turned the ball over. Durfee with the lead right now. They're making some of the shots. Playing a little more intensity right now, but I'll tell you, this Cougars team has looked very good this year, especially after the slow start. So they will have, of course, we don't know when or who they'll be playing, but we do know that they should have a round one home game, or their first game during the state tournament should be a home game, whether it's a round one game or if it's a quarterfinal game, as Farrington put up the three, no good. Last year they had a bye in the first round and actually played the quarterfinals here. Nera from the corner for three. 5-point game, 90 seconds to play before the half. So not sure which round or who they'll be playing as Rivera puts up a three. That's no good. Connolly ball. As Brendan White, number 2 from the JV squad, checking in, getting some varsity action tonight. Switching off with Joe Camara. So we'll see what happens. A reminder, yes, that state tournament is just around the corner. This is the final week of the regular season. State tournament brackets will be announced Friday. Be sure to like and follow our Fred TV Sports Facebook page. I will have state tournament updates throughout the playoffs. As brackets and results are released, we'll have them posted. So be sure to like and follow it. Sean O'Connor getting called on the foul. Conley's 5th. The Cougars fans were looking for a travel. Saying no shot, though, so the Cougars get a break there. No free throws coming. Hilltoppers have to inbound the ball. Deshaun Barros gets the pass. Rivera wide open. No good. And the Cougars, amazingly, after a slow start this quarter, they have a chance to tie this game up. They were down by 11 just 3 minutes ago. 36-33 the score, and a foul coming. Yamel Rivera gets Durfee's 10th foul of this first half, and Nera will go to the line. Best he can do is make it a 1-point game. The Cougars have shown some real grit here these last couple minutes of play. Chris Bacon waiting to check back in. Nera misses. Chathan Nera coming in. He gets the rebound. Shot clock is off. Gets the free ball, or the loose ball. And the Cougars can tie it or take the lead here after being down by 11. Nera pulls up. Can't put it in. McCray tips it away. Sean O'Connor for three. Got it! Oh, baby! Rivera lets it fly. No shot. The Cougars, after being down by 11, have come back to take a 1-point lead just seconds before halftime. Oh, what a great game we got here. Yamel Rivera not happy about the basket not counting, but gonna let it go, gonna walk it off. Not buying it, though. What a second quarter, I'll tell you. This has been turning into everything we expected it to be. Really a great game so far. We're going to tally up the numbers, and we'll be right back with the third quarter, so stay with us on Fred TV. The players have taken their halftime break. They shot a few warm-up shots, and we are back to the action. What an incredible ending to that first half. Durfee led by as much as 11 at one point. Cougars hold a 1-point lead, 37-36. And they're going to get the ball after the turnover right there. Leading scorer right now is Nick Salmon for the Hilltoppers. He has 19 first-half points. Really impressive. He had the first 10 points of the game for Durfee, so he got off to the hot start. Chathan Nera with 13 for the Cougars, leading the way for Bishop Connolly. McCray can't get it to fall. It's a pretty move, but it just rolled off. We saw Durfee have a couple that kind of wouldn't fall on that end, so maybe it's just that basket. We'll see. Echeverria gets himself his second basket. This is for three. Nilanera with a little bit too long a shot there. Farrington going coast to coast. Thought maybe a travel would be coming instead. There is a foul coming on Nilanera. This will be the Cougars' first of the second half and Nilan's third tonight. 5 fouls for Connolly in the first half. Durfee with 10. They had 7 after 1 quarter. Rivera for 3. That's off the front of the rim. Chathan with the rebound. Gets it to his brother. Has 2 from downtown. Make it 3. Well, he just missed one, so they got it back to him. Farrington fouled. Good for the basket. And he'll go to the line, trying to make it a 3-point play. Second foul, rather, on Alex McCray. We're tied at 40, and this free shot could make it a Durfee lead once again. No good on the free throw. Nera coming down with it. Nilan is open again. This time Reardon gets the handoff, though. Barrington watching Nilan on the near side. Chathan with it on the far side to McCray. Underneath to Sullivan. Really nice passing there. Good disciplined passing right there. Sullivan with 8 points this after that basket. Farrington buries it for 2. He's got a quick 4 in this second half. 8 on the night. Nilanera quickly covered up. Double teamed, so they get it back across the other side. Now underneath to Sullivan. Can't bank it in. Salmon with the rebound. Tipped away by Chathan. 2-on-1. Salmon going to guard him. And Chathan puts it in. He's got 15 points tonight. Chris Farrington stripped. McCray takes it away. And Reardon will take it across half court. Nera gets it. Decides not to take the shot. Passes around the horn. Around the arc, rather. Back to Nilan. 15 on the shot clock. Reardon to Chathan. Gonna do it again. Reardon now to Sullivan. Back to Nilan for 3. It's gonna be off the mark to the left. McCray puts it up. McCray going to the line. Echeverria's third foul will be Durfee's first here in the third quarter. McCray, 1 trip to the free throw line. He was 2 for 2. So small sample size. We'll see what he does here. Nothing but net. And the Cougars with a 3-point lead. And Echeverria has now taken a seat. Joe Camara replacing him. Camara with 2 fouls, so we're going to watch him as well. McCray cannot knock it down. Sullivan comes out of the pile with it. Nilan to Chathan, a fresh shot clock. Back to Nilan it goes. Now to Chathan, Reardon to his left. He'll get the handoff as they switch spots. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Sullivan loses it. Barrows swats it away. A kick ball. Salmon let it go. So 45-42, the Hilltoppers trail with a chance to tie it here. They get it to Barrows outside, now to Salmon, to Rivera. Say, I'll pull up for three. It's going to be Durfee ball. Billy Shea can't believe it. Farrington gets it into Rivera. Pulls up inside the arc, and that's good for two. And amazingly, for someone who averages 20 points a game, that's Rivera's first basket tonight. He was scoreless in the first half. The Cougars continue to lead by one. McCray gets the ball, almost lost it. Joe Camara defending him well. Kevin Sullivan going against Barrows. Barrows takes it away. Rivera for three, short. Well short, actually. Not feeling the long shot tonight is Rivera. Sullivan is going to get called on the travel, despite the contact. Timeout called by Billy Shea. So we're right back where we started the quarter, with the Cougars leading by one, just a different score, 45-44, with 3:33 to play in this third. Coming out of the timeout, Toppers have the ball, and that was Gabe DeOliveira getting his first action tonight. He inbounded the ball. Salmon, puts it in for two, and he has crested over 20 points tonight. 21, actually, with that last basket, so he's really having himself a great game. McCray gets the feed in traffic, banks it in for two. McCray into double digits. He has 11. The Cougars back in front as we continue to trade leads. He's had more than a handful of lead changes in this third quarter. Farrington with the fadeaway jumper. He's going to get it back. Puts it in for two. There's another lead change for you. Farrington with 10 after that basket. So he's into double digits as well, joining Salmon. Barrows with 9. Nillen for three, and it's in and out. Tipped away into Camara's hands. Farrington, whistle blown before the shot. And this is going to be a foul on Logan Reardon, it appears. It is on Reardon, his second, team third. Rivera will inbound. Barrows free on the left. Instead, it goes to the corner. Salmon now with the ball. Camara for a three in the corner. He knocks it down. That one is for 3. Had one earlier that looked like 3. They gave him 2. This one is good for the long ball. And Coach Guimond calls timeout after the Hilltoppers now take this lead, or extend this lead now. They had a 1-point lead, 4-point lead now, 51-47, with just under 2 minutes to play in the third. Again, a lot riding on this game if you're just joining us. At least for Durfee, Hilltoppers 1 win shy of clinching a playoff berth. This would be the 3rd year in a row for Durfee. So they are in great need of a win tonight. Cougars have already clinched their playoff spot. And this is actually the 5th straight year for Bishop Connolly. Again, in that span, 2 trips to the TD Garden, 1 for the title, one for the state semis. But of course, that title game against the Linfield, we'll never forget that one. Salmon getting called on the foul, number 3. And it's the 2nd for Durfee, but Salmon's 3rd overall. Rivera guarding Chathan Nera. Those two have been going at it all night. It's been really good battle. Very fast players. Coach Guimond pleading his case as Rivera picks up foul number 3 for himself and the team, saying he's not doing much. Not doing much, but Coach Guimond not changing the mind of Lou Brito. "90 seconds to play in the third. Chathan with it. Nillen calling, but Sullivan gets it first. Now Nillen gets it. Decides not to take the shot. Sullivan with 10 seconds on the shot clock. He'll pull up in the paint. Barrows swats it away. And it'll be Durfee ball. "10 points for Connolly, 15 for Durfee in this quarter. Not a very explosive quarter for either side. Camara with another 3. He's feeling the shot from outside. And now Durfee with 18, matching both the first and second quarter for points. McCray puts it in off the fingertips. Rivera, his first 3 of the night. Durfee drilling him from downtown. 8-point lead in the blink of an eye. Chathan with it, 15 seconds in the quarter. Out to Nillen. Coming up on 10 seconds. Chathan with it back. Sullivan to his left. Nillen to his right. Chathan going to charge the lane. A travel called. Wow. No foul that time. There was some contact, but Chathan started falling. Rivera lets it fly from half court, wide to the left. Durfee with a 21-point third quarter, their highest point output of the night, and they held Connolly to just 12. That's a big, big difference from the last couple quarters. Very impressive. Of course, there were some steals as well. Connolly did not control the ball very well in that third quarter. It's actually pretty fast third quarter as well. Cougars with 3 players into double digits. Nillen Nera with 10. McCray with 13. And Chathan Nera with 15. On the other side, Nick Salmon still leading the way with 21. Joe Camara with a pair of 3s. That gives him 8. He had a basket way back in the first quarter. Farrington with just 10 tonight, kind of, I guess, an off night for him. See how he does in his fourth quarter. No fouls for Chris, but in his last game, 20 points, and that was without getting any in the fourth quarter. So we'll see if he starts to turn it on a little bit here. Final 8 minutes to play in this battle on Ellsbury Street between Durfee and Bishop Connolly. Cougars start with the ball, trailed by 8. Durfee looking to wrap up this one and keep their lead and clinch a playoff spot for the third straight year. McCray can't get it to fall, and Connolly will keep it, though. Salmon went out of bounds with it. Evan Massoud with you here on Fred TV Channel 9. Really, this has been an exciting game, and I hope these two schools square off more often in the coming years, because you see the fan bases for both sides. Both teams want to win it. I mean, you know, in the league standings, it doesn't mean a thing because both schools in different leagues, different divisions. But bragging rights, we saw the fans come out for the football opening day games. That happened 2 years in a row. That's for 3 from Salmon. Give him 24 on the night. Toppers have hit 60 for the night. Again, McCray having a tough time feeling it as we begin this fourth quarter. Salmon wanted another, no good. There is Farrington's first foul of the night. Maybe I jinxed him, saying he had none. Picks up his first. It's an 11-point game now. Durfee ahead. McCray, though, with a couple of misses here. He's been pretty good all night, actually. Again, 13 points, but 2 misses in this fourth quarter. Sullivan puts that one down, and that'll get Sullivan into double digits. He now has 10. Nice feed to Salmon. Can't put it up. A late whistle. Wow. McCray's fourth foul. That was a late whistle. Salmon missing the first free throw. Amazingly, with all of Salmon's points tonight, this is his first trip to the free throw line. They've all come from the field. Hits the second, so 1 for 2. 25 points for Salmon. He's got a shot at hitting 30. Reardon pulls up. Can't bank it home. Salmon with the rebound. And, oh, going to be a turnover. Nillen for a quick 3. That's going to be off the mark. Sullivan picks up the loose ball. D'Oliveira trying to swat it away. It's going to be Durfee ball. I don't know how. D'Oliveira had it. He was leaning on the boundary line. Sure looked like he was the last one to touch it. Nera with the interception to the basket. Figure we'll throw a football term in there for the Cougars wide receiver. Rivera for 3. That's off the mark. Camara with the rebound. Salmon with it. Feeds it to Farrington. No good. And Chathan comes down with the rebound. And a foul coming. It'll be Farrington's second and Durfee's 5th. 61-53. Cougars chipping away a little bit. It's an 8-point game again with 5:20 to play. Cougars need a few more stops here and some clutch shots. That's what they were getting at the end of the first half. Chaitin gets his own rebound, and a travel is called. The Cougars turn it over. Been really an intense game, I'll tell you. Rivera for three, a long one. I have a turnover here, another foul on Farrington. Boy, I've given him the foul bug. I shouldn't have said anything. It's unbelievable. Sixth foul for Durfee. Third for Farrington. All three of his have come in this fourth quarter. Chaitin is stripped of the ball. And Durfee will get it back. Farrington to Rivera. To the corner it goes to D'Oliveira. That's long. Barrows tipping it away from O'Connor. Salmon wanted it. Double dribble will turn over the ball. Chaitin gets the inbound pass. Puts it up. Can't get it to fall. Durfee gets the rebound. We are more than halfway through this fourth quarter. Less than 4 minutes to play. The Hilltoppers up by 8, 61-53. Farrington gets the feed outside. He'll go to the basket. Can't put it in. Barrows. No shot. They're giving it back to the Cougars. Barrows called on the foul. Durfee's seventh. Tension's running just a little high right now with some of the foul calls we're seeing in the second half. Both coaches giving the refs a little bit to listen to. So a double foul being called by John Souza. One on Chris Farrington. It's his fourth. So it's Kevin Sullivan, I believe, and Chris Farrington that got the fouls. Nilanera for a long three off the rim. It's Durfee's eighth foul and the Cougars' fifth. Salmon for three! 28 points for Nick Salmon. It's an 11-point Durfee lead. So the Cougars with it, but now down by 11 after that Salmon 3. We come out of the timeout with a 64-53 score. 3 minutes to play. Another tough non-call the Cougars wanted. Camara pulls up for 3. It's short. Didn't get a good jump on that. Joe usually gets a little more off the ground. Didn't seem to get a good jump. And Chaithanera puts it in for 2. He has 19. Back to a 9-point game we go. 2:30 to play. Camara gives it up to Rivera. Rivera to the basket for 2. He has 7. Barros is called for foul number 4. Durfee's 9th. McCray going to the line for a 1-and-1. First one's good. McCray will get another shot. 10-point game. McCray drains them both. He is 5 for 6 at the line tonight. 15 points for number 4. Speaking of points, Salmon with 28. Gets it. He'll give it across to Joe Camara. To the corner to D. Oliveira. Back to Salmon with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Rivera for 3. No good. Sullivan with the rebound. Chaithanera going to the basket. Can't put it in. Salmon with the rebound, trying to get his footing. He does. All the way down to Camara. Alone. Basket does not fall. Camara heading to the line with 92 seconds to play in the game. And Chaithanera gets his first foul as Coach Shea calls timeout. It is a 9-point game. Durfee ahead. Seven of the 9 points that make up this difference are from Salmon here in this in this fourth quarter. The other 2 points was to Rivera. Take Salmon out, this is a 2-point game. So he has really been the spark plug right from the get-go, grabbing Durfee's first 10 points, and now grabbing 7 of the 9 that the Hilltoppers have in this quarter. He's had a big night. So Camara at the line, he'll shoot 2. Try to make it an 11-point game again. Crazier things have happened, but with just over 90 seconds to play, it sure does look like the Hilltoppers are going to go on to win this one. But again, I mean, 90 seconds is a long time, so we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But if things stay the way they've been going, Camara misses them both, so that could be big. 3-possession game. Rivera called on a foul. 2 shots coming for Kevin Sullivan. This is Rivera's 4th foul. Sullivan going to take his first trip to the free throw line here in the 4th quarter. He has 10 points for the game, trying to add to that. Sullivan gets the first one to fall. Chris Farrington will take over Joe Camara's spot in the game. Barros, Farrington, and Rivera all with 4 fouls. Sullivan makes both free throws. And it is a 7-point game. Turnover. Chaitan Nera with it to Sean O'Connor. 6-point game. And a foul coming now. Salmon will go to the line for a 1-and-1 as Sullivan burns his second. 7th for the Cougars. Salmon 1 for 2 tonight at the free throw line. He'll need to make the first to guarantee himself another shot. It is a 5-point game. Salmon hits the first. Now a 6-point game again. This is a big shot for Salmon. And he makes it. 7-point game makes it a 3-possession game. Chaitan Nera to Sullivan for 3. No good. Rivera gets the rebound. Gonna have to foul him, and they do. Nilan Nera will use his 4th foul, Connolly's 8th. And we have exactly 60 seconds to play in the game. This will be Rivera's first trip to the line. And it's another 1-and-1. And he hits the first one. So Durfee putting away here now. We're trying to at least 8-point game again. Nine-point game. 70 points for the Hilltoppers tonight. As we come under 60 seconds. That's a travel. That's a big turnover for Durfee to get back here. Salmon gets it to Rivera, who is fouled by Sullivan. Sullivan's 3rd, the 9th for the Cougars. They'll keep racking them up here. Durfee 8 for 10 at the free throw line, make it 8 for 11. McCray gets it back, the 1-and-1, no good. Chaitan Nera needs some points fast. Can't put it in. Sullivan is pushed. It'll be 2 shots. And Nick Salmon has just fouled out of the game. Oh, pardon me, I'm sorry. Salmon with now 4 fouls. My bad. Salmon with 4. Sullivan at the line for 2 shots. 38.5 seconds to play. Makes it an 8-point game. You can bet the Cougars are going to foul immediately. 4 for 4 at the line is Sullivan tonight. Rivera gets it away. Gabe DeOliveira to Salmon, and finally a foul comes in nearly 7 seconds after the inbound pass. 10th foul for the Cougars. 4th foul for Nilan Nera. I'm sorry, that's his 5th. He is done. That's 5 for Nilan. And he had a good game. 10 points tonight for number 41, Nilan Nera. Oh, they're saying 4. I had him for 5. So Nilan stays in the game. My bad. Salmon will go to the line. this is an automatic 2 shots now. He's hit his last 3. It's another right there. Good at the line, and Salmon has 30 points tonight. That's for 3, and it's short. Salmon with the ball goes down. A travel is called. Nine-point game, 21.9 seconds as the Cougars inbound it. Sullivan pulls up for 2. No good. Fighting for it is Chaithanera, and he gets fouled. That will be Salmon's 5th foul. So with 30 points, Nick Salmon's night is done, but one heck of a game for number 5. Actually, he finishes with 32. Great game for Salmon. Chaithanera going to the line now. 14.4 seconds in a 9-point game. Three for 4 is Nera after that one. Second one, no good. And Sullivan called for another foul. Trying to get the rebound. He's going to put Mason Turner at the line. Tries to get his first points of the game. It's Sullivan's 4th foul. Mason Turner misses the first. Durfee's defense playing back. It is an 8-point game. Turner will get in the book with points. 1 point tonight. 10 seconds to play. Durfee up by 9. Nera to the basket. A beautiful move. He's had a nice 4th quarter. That's it. The Durfee Hilltoppers are heading back to the postseason for the 3rd straight year. The Hilltoppers will play in the MIAA state tournament after the 73-66 win here at Bishop Connolly. Really great game. And I'll tell you, a lot of players tonight made an impact. Chaithanera had 22 points, getting over the 20 mark for the Cougars. Nick Salmon, though, I got to give it to him. Got the first 10 points for Durfee. And he was money because you take those 10 points away that he started with to get Durfee rolling, Connolly wins this game. So Salmon getting your MVP honors tonight. 32 points for number 5, Nick Salmon, one of the 3 captains for the Hilltoppers. Really a great game and a rivalry that has been renewed here tonight. I hope that we see more of these contests because this has been a really entertaining game. So we want to just say a quick shout out. Thank you to Principal Myron and Cesar Gonzalez once again for the great seats, best seats in the house here at Connolly. Final score one last time. 73 for Durfee, 66 for Connolly. And with the win, the Hilltoppers clinch a playoff berth. Connolly had already done it, so this game was just for bragging rights. Both teams will be heading into the state tournament. Brackets come out Friday. Be on the lookout for one other game this week on Fred TV. We have senior night from the Luke Urban Fieldhouse as the Durfee Lady Hilltoppers celebrate the class of 2016. That game will be airing on our station later this week. For our camera person tonight, Brooke Tevs getting the great footage despite the big crowd. Did a nice job tonight as well. I'm Evan Massoud. We'll see you again real soon.